All right, all right. So I want to go ahead and welcome Jesse, Nava, and David Lopez to a brand new episode of You Have a Collect Call From. How are you doing today, David?
Hey, I'm doing all right. I am doing all right. I got my boy right here, Jess, but he's gonna be off the mic for a couple minutes. You guys may hear him on the other side of the curtain. He's bird bathing right now. We are locked in a cell in a California state prison, Centinela. Yeah, we're doing all right. What about yourself, Big James?
I can't complain. You know, it's
Have you heard
Sunday.
him?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
heard him in the background.
All right.
Yeah, it's Sunday. Get
Yeah.
to relax for a few hours before I got to head on out, so I can't complain. Hey, let me ask you something. So you mentioned right now bird bath. For those of us that have never been to prison, it might not be familiar with the term bird bath. Would you mind sharing what exactly a bird bath is?
All right. And okay, so we're in a cell. We're cell living. You know, they got dorms and stuff like that, and we are not in dorms. We're in cells. So we came off the yard at 11:15, and you know we were out there working out, playing sports. So we got a shower. So unfortunately, we don't got showers in the cells, so we got a bird bath. A bird bath is, um, it just depends. It depends how you do it, right? So basically, you got to take a shower using your sink um, to get clean. So that's what Jesse's doing right now. So the way that we do it is we got a hose. It's like a tube, and most of us make our tubes out of like cable cords because they don't just give you tubes in here. You can't just go to the tube aisle. You're like, let me get a tube. So we get a, you know what I mean? Let me get your finest tube. No, we can't do that. So we get our cable cord and we take the middle part of it out, like where the coaxial part is, and then hold on. That was the water.
Ah,
And
why?
then we get a pen. Yep, we cut a pen and we jam the pen in there. And hey, that's too long though. That's too long of a flush. That sounded artificial. I was just like, man, straight to the point. You know what I mean? Hey, so yeah, you flush in here, and that's just take half your body with it. So anyway, we get this tube. We jam a pen in there, and then the pen fits perfectly in the little hole for the sink, and then it shoots water out the tube, and you just stand over the toilet and handle your business. It's kind of like having one of those like removable shower heads in the shower,
Yeah.
and you kind of just you put a towel on the floor so you can catch the water, and then when the water starts to build up a little bit in between the shower, you just wring it out in the toilet and just carry on. You know, do it, and then
And
that's
and,
what it is.
and
We go ahead.
the bird bath, is that something you have to do every day? Do you guys have access to showers right there in the prison? How's that work?
No, we got showers. The thing is, so the day room. Okay, so we come in off of yard, so the day room opens at 1 o'clock. So if we have yard in the morning, we have day room at 1 for our tier because it's a split tier here. So we'll go out and then we'll just have access to the shower then. You know, which is cool. There's 6 showers in the building, so it's not too hard to get a shower right here. So most of us don't wait. One thing I learned about being in the prison system is you don't really want to wait for anything. The chances of them opening the day room at 1 are pretty good. They do it, you know, a lot of times, but most of us have been here too many times where you kind of just wait for something, and then all of a sudden 1 o'clock comes around, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, short of staff." And, yep,
Ah, wow.
um, yep. So you got to flush though too because you don't want the water to build up in there. It's actually a clean process, the bird bath, but I'll get into that in a second. So the other yards, they go off pretty much at any time. And one thing you can predict is you kind of know when incidents are going to happen. In prison, you could kind of tell. You could see something in the air. And respect, it goes a long way in prison. So generally, when incidents are going to happen, the people that are like the hitters and stuff like that, they know. They're like, well, let's let them get most of their yards so people can handle their business and move around, and you know, because after that you might be slammed down, or you know, there might be searches and stuff. So a lot of times before the inline, it's a pretty dangerous time, which is around 10:30. So around 10:15, you know, it's not uncommon to see people get hit, And then 11:15, it's not uncommon to see people get hit around 11. And then so that's kind of standard, you know. If there's something that's really pressing, like during the yard, those are more like shit happens. There's an argument, and you know people start throwing blows, and that's something else, you know. But the big incidents will happen around yard recall. So if they're dealing with something like right now at 11 o'clock, we heard one of the other yards go off. So we can hear the alarm pretty loud, and it went off around 11:05, which is pretty standard. We weren't surprised. So when that happens, if it's a big enough incident, then it'll carry a staff response all the way past 1 o'clock. So we might lose program all the way till 2 o'clock, which is when the next shift comes on. So you gotta handle your business. You know, you gotta find a way to make do. In prison, that's one of the first lessons I had to learn was gotta make do, man. How am I gonna live my life, figure it out, get my basic needs met? And that's what it was, you know.
So pretty much the prison, they just provide you with their substandard meals and somewhere to sleep, and other than that, you guys got to figure out the rest, then, right?
Well, not necessarily. You know, and I don't want to say, well, we're living in the Shawshank Redemption or, you know, some crazy, you know,
Yeah.
system like that. The system's far along. Like, we got what we need in here. It's just because of security measures, our needs can't be met as fast as we would like them to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a delay to everything. So 1 o'clock, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to use a shower. I jumped on here, which means that, like, I can't go on my bunk or nothing like that. I sit, like, if I'm going to wait until day room, I'm kind of just going to sit in, like, a corner of the cell. Because I was out there running around, but I wanted to come spend this time with you. But Jesse was like, nope, I'm in the bird bed. So the thing is, so it's just a little delay on things. Like, if you have a medical emergency, they're fast. Like, you know, but you have to,
Not as fast as you would hope when somebody's dying.
it's crazy because the cops will run all crazy. Like, if there's a medical emergency, the cops, they'll be here. Like, they get up the next.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
We'll be in the yard. We'll see the cops running like crazy. Like, they make it into the building to secure the situation. But then you see medical staff just walking. And they're walking all across the yard. And we're just like, damn, what the hell? Like, you would think that you would want the cops, you would want medical staff for a medical emergency running right behind the cops. You know what I'm saying? Like, they say what it is, medical emergency. And I want to see my nurse running. You know what I'm saying? It's not faster. You know, but you don't see that. Yeah, you got a man dying, and freaking the cops are surrounding them. And they're like, "Hey, but you know one thing I'll say about these officers too is they'll bring you back. They'll, you know, that's one thing I've seen them. I've seen them really. I've seen them save lives on this tier, several times.
And is that
they'll get their hands dirty.
and when you seen them save life, was it something to do with somebody inflicting some type of damage into them, or was it illegal substances? In what ways have you seen them bring somebody back?
Mostly ODs. Yeah, mostly overdoses. When it's something like when somebody got butchered, honestly, there's a lot of blood everywhere, and so they're more unlikely to try to make like too much contact with you. That's more like the nurse is supposed to come over there, and that's the incidents are a little tricky, you know. So it's on one end I want to be like, well, you know, I don't know if they're going to run up and hold the wound. I know a lot of OG cops that are here that may or may not do it, you know. It just depends. It depends how bad it is, you know.
All right.
That's kind of I'm trying to think back of, because I don't want to say, well, I don't want to be biased, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be biased to something where I'm not sure, you know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't seen them, like, okay, generally when it's something like that, somebody's pretty messed up. Like, they're not going to just hold like one little wound.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
There's going to be like 50 holes. So there's not, you know, what can you really do in that circumstance, you know? Medical's there. I've seen medical put pressure on wounds, like open holes and stuff like that. And it's an ugly society in here.
I can't even imagine. But I know we just got alerted for that for the 60-second mark, so our call should be ending shortly. If you want to go ahead and call back, and we'll go ahead and continue with the fresh 15.
I got Jesse on, so do your thing right now, Jesse.
Guess who's back in the motherfucking house?
Hey, do your after these messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, give him some good commercials too, James. Don't put hemorrhoid cream on there again.
Hey, no, I'm gonna use the crema naca. And you might be like, what the?
Don't
What
put no
the?
Diddy oil out there.
You probably thinking, what the hell is la
Diddy
crema
oil. I'll be trying to
naca?
hawk that.
All right. So, hey, Drea, so I just saw your question. So, pretty much for today, we're going to be doing phone calls from Centinela State Prison. We currently got Jesse and David on the line. Well, they should be calling back shortly, and they've been in prison for quite some time. If you guys want to go ahead and check out their backstory, I would suggest you jump over to our YouTube page at Collect Call From. Go to the playlist and look up David Lopez or Jesse Nava. We've been talking to them for over a year and a half now at this point, and there they are.
This call is now being recorded.
Esta es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
Not right now.
un individuo
No court right now.
encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Yeah. All right. I need the viewers to let us know, man. You weren't hawking Diddy oil, right? Were you? During the little intermission?
Absolutely not. No way, no how.
In Spanish? How would you say it in Spanish? Yeah.
Oh, man, it's oil.
Diddy oil.
Diddy.
Oil
Oil
de
is
Diddy.
oil is aceite.
Aceite de Diddy? Half. Yeah, we're going to have to charge you extra. We're going to charge you double because I'm pretty sure there's drugs in it. And I want to make sure we get our cut from that too. So.
That's all bad.
Like,
Right
man, this
there.
oil costs $50. Well, there's a 50 in it.
Yeah, there's a 50 in it.
Why does oil cost $53? Well, it's a 50 for the dope and $3 for the oil.
Yeah, we're even giving you a deal. The oil's free.
Yeah, what the hell? The oil's free.
Yeah, the oil's free. Just think about the things you can do once you have that oil.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't know, man. James went down for the brown party. I don't know what that means. Yeah, the brown party.
Hey,
What's up, though, James? How
Hey,
you doing this Sunday morning?
Yeah.
man, hey, I'm doing good. I slept in today, and I just got ready before we started this phone call. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I got a few hours, before I got to head on out. So I can't complain.
That's good shit. That's good shit. Yeah, we stayed up late last night. I watched this movie last night. This crazy ass movie. Probably one of the craziest movies I've ever seen in my life. This movie was a trip. I don't stay up late. That's just why I just don't do that. But I'm on that old man shit. I go to sleep early and I wake up hella early. Well, I go to sleep by 10 o'clock and I wake up 4 o'clock. But I stayed up late last night to watch this movie and it was not disappointment at all. It was crazy. But anyways, so we woke up this morning, regular time, but we went out to his yard, got a little exercise in. I was going to play football, but I just wasn't feeling it. So Dave and them played football. I went and exercised. And it was cool. It was beautiful outside right now. The weather's beautiful. I just feel fortunate that we didn't get caught up with no rain or nothing this winter. It feels like spring's already here, and pretty soon summer will be here. And fortunately, we didn't have to get any of that nasty ass weather.
Hey Jesse, hold on. Hey Ray, is that you, Ray Jennings, on the chat? I think I just saw Ray Jennings pop up on the chat. If that is you, if that is you, would you guys mind? I'm not sure. Like, so would you mind calling in, Ray? And would you guys mind if Ray calls in?
No, we don't mind. I've never met Ray formally.
Hey Ray. So let me give you. I'm gonna text you a phone number right now where you could call at, and then I'll plug you in, and we could all conversate. Let me just get the.
Yeah.
Just give me a moment here, and
Have the viewers got to hear Ray's story?
Yeah, have they had the opportunity to hear Ray's?
So right now, I've done I've only clipped one part of the interview. I haven't released the full interview yet. What I was gonna plan on doing it was to clip it in parts, and then ultimately release like the full interview.
That's cool. No, that's good. But have you put any of the clips out yet?
Just one small clip.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool.
but
Good. Let the masses hear. Do we got a few people on here right now
we got
on
about
this Sunday morning?
41 on TikTok, and we got about on YouTube we have about 5.
All right. Well, we got about 46 people out there. Just want to say good morning to you guys on this Sunday morning. Oh yeah, it's not. I mean, I'm pretty specific, Jesse.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely not afternoon yet. You know, definitely. Well, we got like 5 minutes.
15 minutes.
15 definitely. So it's close enough. But
46 people, that definitely beats a blank. Thank you guys for
cool,
sharing your morning to noon time with us.
yeah, and that's cool. That Ray popped in. Like I said, we've never formally met him. I've heard a lot about him from my buddy Matthew, and I was real. It was a heartfelt story to hear about. It was something that you kind of, you never really want to hear something like this happening to a good person. I don't want to hear something like this. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I don't want to hear like that happening to a bad person. Like you kind of do, right? you kind of like, if it's a bad person, you're kind of like, man, I'm glad that happened. But
when you think about it, how many people we ran into in prison though, in our over 2 decades, time, have we heard somebody say they were innocent?
No, it's true.
Hello, Ray.
And usually you brush it off like.
Hold on. Let me check. I think I plugged them in. Oh, here. Hello, Ray.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Ray. How are you doing? So I want to go ahead and introduce you to Jesse, Nava, and David Lopez. David was the one that made that connection with your buddy, Matt.
Yep, Ray, nice to meet you, man. This is David. Yep.
Hey, what's going on, David? Pleasure to meet you, man. Tell Matt I said hey.
I will. And, Matt's one of my study buddies right here.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
So we got to talking about.
Knock it off.
hey, we got he's a smart dude, man. So he helps out a lot with school. But the reason why it came up, like your situation came up, because Matthew, he said that he didn't do it. Like the reasons why he's here, and it was crazy because I had heard in like the past, I don't know, during that week, or I work in the law library, so I see a lot of guys in there that are actually working on their cases and stuff, and I really didn't pay no mind. I just kind of, go through the motions and stuff and help people, and but it was crazy that there was like a week, maybe 2-week period where I heard at least 5 dudes tell me, like, and they volunteered it. They're like, look, I didn't do it. I'm here. I'm innocent, and there was so many people that had told me that I had mentioned it to James, and I was like, man, I said, well, what do you do in a situation like that where, look, I have a big heart. I care about people. Yes, I've committed a horrible crime. I did it, why I came to prison. And so, but I have a good heart. I've changed a lot. So I feel it when somebody tells me, hey, man, I didn't do it, and they have like a desperation almost, to try to get themselves out of prison. So I was talking to James, and I was like, well, who am I to judge this person? Why? Because I believe that this person did it. Why? Because I'm guilty, And it was crazy because I was talking to Matt about this, and Matt was like, well, I have a buddy where he's out. Like he did not do it. He was absolved, and they made him look really bad. And I was thinking about it, man, and I was like, that's just, so your story was something that we had talked about, and it really made an impact on us, because you never want to see that, You had lived a good life, man, and you didn't deserve what happened to you.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
really glad that you're out there.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys
glad
reaching out and allowing me to share my story a little bit.
That's cool, man. I can't wait for the viewers to get to hear it, and I actually can't wait till I get to hear it more, too, because I've never seen, like, the Dateline thing on you or anything like that, but all I have is what I've heard and what James told me about, and he was honest, man. James said that your story almost moved into tears at one point, and we feel that. That's something like, man, I'm sorry that happened to you, man, and I hope that you're, able to repair your life as much as possible, and you can't get time back that you lost, but you still have a future, You know, it's just
Yeah,
crazy.
man, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, life is good out here in North Carolina, man. You know, I done moved past all that nonsense, and just try to stay in touch and you know, help as many of the guys that I stay in touch with, you know, canteen and packages and stuff like that. So, you know, I try to do my part, write support letters and things like that.
How much time did you end up doing?
Right at 11 years.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Can't believe that.
Yeah.
That's a large chunk of time right there. People don't realize that. Like, in here, it's not a big deal because, you know, like me, I've been in here for 24 years. My son's been in here for almost 15 years. And in here, when, you know, from being in here, people throw years around like it's nothing because you got people in here for decades. But out there in society, when somebody thinks of 11 years, you know, like especially for somebody who's living their best life, living a decent, upright life, to be ripped out of that and just put in purgatory for 11 years, that's a crazy thing. I think about it now because I've been in recovery for 4 years, and I think about all the 20 years that I wasted before that of incarceration. So I can only imagine how it feels for you. And I chose this life. This was the life I chose to live. I've been doing time my whole life before I did this 24 years. And so it's not as bad for me as it would be out there, you know, for somebody who didn't sign up for this. But at the same time, it's like, I'm sure some people probably think like, man, 11 years, just think of the things you can do in 11 years with your life, you know?
Yeah, I try to put it in perspective for a lot of people, man. Like when I was first arrested, my youngest daughter was 5 months old. And when I got out, I was celebrating her 11th birthday, you know, and that's like a huge gap that, you know, it'll put it into a different perspective for a lot of people, you know?
How, you know, and I mean, I know this is probably personal, but how do you explain that to them? You know, how did you deal with that?
You know, it really, luckily, you know, their mom was, you know, supportive in certain respects, and she explained a little bit what was going on. But, you know, as when I got out, you know, a lot of things had to come to the forefront. You know, my kids came to visit me a few times while I was locked up, and, you know, they understood the situation. They just didn't understand how the system allowed it to happen. You know, if you in fact didn't kill anybody, you know, how did the system allow that to happen? And trying to explain how the system is flawed in every way. And, you know, people don't understand that, you know, that the system is flawed, and it's not designed to help you. It's designed to put people away, you know, and once it gets its hands on you, that there's really not too much you can do unless you sitting on a whole bunch of money with a whole bunch of good attorneys.
Yeah, but I was going to ask you that's a good catalyst for this next question. I was going to ask you, during that 11 years, at some point in time, were there people that were in your corner starting to call into question, like, hey, man, you know, are you sure you didn't do this? Or there was a point where you started to feel like, man, I'm losing, you know, people are losing faith in my fight. You know, did you start to lose a little hope yourself because you started to realize people in your corner may have started to call into question the reality of the situation?
Not at all, man. I didn't run into that situation. You know, most of the people that rode with me, they knew the situation, and nobody had really gave up in that respect and said, yeah, I think you might have done it. I mean, why would they keep you there that long? And even myself, you know, we can tell a lie and say, you know, I didn't give up hope at some point. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm looking at 40 years to life, and, you know, every corner that I was turning, I was hitting a roadblock. You know, all my pills had been exhausted, and the only light that I had at that dark tunnel was the Innocence Project at that time. You know, they accepted my case and had been working on it for right at 5 years. And, you know, it wasn't until Jackie Lacey back in 2015 instituted that new organization called the CRU. I think it's changed a little bit now, the CIU or something like that. But no, man, I mean, I actually gained a lot of followers and new friends because of this case. You know, people could see through a lot of the BS that had happened and what was going on.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Yeah, for the viewers that don't know, Ray Jennings, he was wrongfully convicted, was sentenced to 40 years to life for 187. I think it was second degree, right, Ray?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, second degree, and he was innocent. He did not do it, and he eventually they overturned his conviction. He was exonerated, and he's after 11 years, and so it's amazing that we get to meet you and we get to experience your story. It's crazy because I'm right now I'm sentenced to 40 years to life.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
That's my sentence. I got a second degree with the 25 to life firearm enhancement. And so there's a lot of
same deal, man.
And I'm trying to put myself into, I'm trying to think about what I would feel like though. I have the 60 seconds. Yeah, I have the same time that you were sentenced to, and I cannot believe that they did that to an innocent person. It's insane. The feeling that I have, knowing that I have life in prison, should never be to somebody who doesn't deserve that. I'm gonna give you a call back right now, James. This is gonna disconnect.
All right, for sure. We'll be waiting.
Yep.
And for those listeners that are just coming across the street and are not familiar who we currently got on the line right now, we have Ray Jennings. If you watch Dayline NBC, you probably heard his case before. His episodes were titled the Girl in the Blue Mustang and The Guy That Knew Too Much. Previously to me meeting him, I had actually seen those episodes, so it's definitely surreal. Coming into contact with him. I never in a million years imagined that I would be doing what I'm currently doing right now. And the fellas are calling back.
This call is now being
Este
recorded.
es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hey Ray, I want to ask you a question. So
Yes, sir.
I was talking to one of my buddies the other day, and I was getting him the rundown of your case. And when I was explaining to him that you went to trial 3 times, the first 2 times you were acquitted. On the third one, you were ultimately convicted, but they deliberated for over 30 days. The first question my buddy asked me was did he have a paid lawyer, or did you have a PD, a public defender?
He was a state appointed. Little bit different than a public defender, but state appointed.
You know what that is, though, right, James? You know what a state appointed is? What the difference is?
No, I do not know.
Well, state appointed attorneys, they're private lawyers.
I'm sorry, go ahead, brother. Spencer.
No, they're private attorneys, but they're on the conflict panel. That's usually what it is, right, Jess?
Yeah. So if the public defender has already represented somebody or a critical component of this case, then there's a conflict. So they have to hand you off to the conflict panel, which is the state appointed attorney. Which the reality of it is, all it is an extension of the public defender's office. The only difference is a lot of attorneys get their start in the public defender's office, so they may have a little less experience. But the reality of it is, you get the same defense that you would. You get a minimal defense from a state appointed attorney as you do from a public defender, because they're getting paid the same. So it's not you're not going to get anything exceptional. Very seldomly will you find an attorney on the conflict panel who's doing it for the sport. Usually they end up on the conflict panel because they're not able to generate enough business in their private practice, so they volunteer for the conflict panel.
Hey, Ray, and was that something you requested, or something that the court did on their own?
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Yeah, the court did that on their own. There was so many conflict of interest within my case because of the limited, DAs that were involved, and also public defenders. They also had some issues with conflicts too, so they couldn't resolve it, and that's why they sent it to a state-appointed attorney.
Yep, that's why they call it the conflict panel, James. There's okay, for instance, right? Like, in my case, my co-defendant was represented by the public defender's office. No, I was represented by the public defender's office at first, and then so my co-defendant, I don't know why she went to it, because no, I had a paid lawyer coming in, but they decided that she wasn't going to be represented by the public defender's office, and they gave her a conflict attorney. So you could be like, if there's a lot of co-defendants, that's one way. Like, one person will be represented by the public defender's office, and that's technically your attorney of record. So two defendants can't be represented by the same attorney of record generally. That's a conflict. So you'll get a state-appointed attorney. So I had a paid lawyer when I first came in, and for a case like this, James, do you know how much money it costs to defend a 187 case?
No, I do not know.
Have you ever heard?
No.
Okay, so if you have a standard attorney, it's $50,000 at least, right? That'll carry you through trial with a standard attorney, but you have to pay 2 retainers. So we had an attorney that we had to pay $25,000 to, and that was just for prelim. So once we paid that money for prelim. That attorney then he wanted like $50,000 more for trial because they were a law firm. I had a law firm at first. We couldn't afford that. Then they wanted $5,000 a month, and they wanted a whole separate retainer of $10,000, $10,000 down, and $5,000 a month till you paid it off. So we couldn't do it. So I went to the public defender's office. I didn't like the way that was turning out because I had a public defender that only had I was his first 187 case. So I was like, hell no. So I went pro per, and I was pro per for about a year. I was representing myself. I did. It was more like a discovery. It was a stall tactic, and it was an issue for discovery because I wanted to run an investigation that they weren't doing. And once I had enough money, well, my family did. We got another attorney for $30,000. So we had to come up with another retainer. And then $30,000 more dollars. Yep.
Let me ask you something, Ray. So your first 2 trials took place in CCB, which is in downtown LA. Why did they move your case over to Lancaster?
Well, the DA knew that they had a better shot of a conviction back in the city of Palmdale. Or Lancaster, I should say, because that's where the trial was actually held. But, there was actually some underhand business that took place in order for that to be, I guess, accepted. The DA knew some people behind the scenes, and they actually got a judge to sign off releasing the case from CCB and sending it back to Lancaster Palmdale because they now had a court that could handle my case, which was a long-term trial in a sense. I think that's how they worded it. It was a long-term case, and they now had a courtroom where they could handle that particular case. So somehow or another, they went behind some people's backs and got this transfer signed in a sense by a judge down there.
Hey, and I wanna we got Fish Layer just tapped in. We also got M Star Media. They wanted me to let you guys know, hey, what's up? And also Star Key, thank you, appreciate you.
Yep, send our love to you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
That's for the boys right there. The boys and a gal.
I got a question for you guys. So we got a question from PZ. They're asking, does the court pay your family back for their mistakes that caused you to hire a lawyer?
Usually not. You're usually going to have to litigate later on for like a wrongful conviction. But other than that, they're not going to pay you back anything. It's going to be the city. It's going to be the state. The court itself is exempt from that.
I think they pay back bail fees, though. Don't they pay back the bail or something?
That's the law now.
Yeah. If you bail out, I think they cover that. But yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Ray would probably know more about that than we would.
Yep.
We're still here.
Yep. We didn't have enough money. Yep.
Well, I do know,
we
and
owe
I can
money.
say that, for those that are wrongfully convicted, and you can prove that you've been wrongfully convicted, and as long as the state agrees to putting these two words into your release papers it's known as factual innocence. If you can get factual innocence written into your paperwork, you're guaranteed, unless it's changed, you're guaranteed $140 a day that you have been falsely incarcerated, which is known as Opie's Law. And so Opie was, that's the last name of a gentleman that had been wrongfully convicted and spent some time incarcerated. And now it's a California bill that some people qualify for.
The irony in that is, bro, is they're willing to give you $140 back for every day you spend here, but yet they're charging the taxpayers $160,000 a year to house us here. So why do you get a drop in the bucket for your life, but the taxpayers got to pay, a crazy number to house us here? If I'm only worth $140 a day, do that same math when you're charging the people to house me here.
That's crazy.
Yep. That's a trip. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just terrible that happened. So, to Fish Lair, to Instar Media, I know you guys popped in. They're part of the At Clear Call family. We're on the line right now with Ray Jennings, who was wrongfully convicted and released after 11 years. So he's sharing some of his story. James actually, he was here on the yard. That's how we know about him. And James actually went out there to North Carolina to interview him. And so he's going to be putting portions of the interview out there at a time for you guys to, experience his story. It's just, it's crazy to hear about, man. We see it on TV all the time. Like, we see, more and more. Remember there was the guy that did 30 years? And he had it rough, man. He did, 30 years on a sexual assault case or something. In what was that prison over there? What was that one that's south? Yeah, but there's a prison that's Angola or something. Yeah. He did in a horrible prison like Angola. 30 years. And he was found to be innocent, factually innocent. And he was on America's Got Talent. And so I heard that story. I heard guys that were on death row, and it's like, man, death row, you were going to execute an innocent person. It's bad enough you're going to incarcerate a person for 11 years, but you're going to take this guy's life. It's like, come on, where's the line drawn right there? You have this, there's this view of winning and losing in the legal system now. That's what it is. They get somebody, and they're going to go above and beyond to get that win, to get that W on their belt, because it looks good for their resume.
It's less about justice than it is about the win and the loss. Don't get me wrong. There's district attorneys, just like there's attorneys who actually are in it for the sport. That they believe in justice, they believe in right, they believe in wrong. But the majority moving in, I can't say that that's the case. A lot of times it's about the win and the loss. You see miscarriages of justice every day. And not to say that a lot of the guys who get wronged in the court system are guilty also. But just when you see the tactics, you see the things that are done by the prosecutor, it's like, look, man, if you truly believed in upholding the law, you would do this fairly. If you believe you proved your case, if you believe that this person is guilty and it's not just about the win, you wouldn't feel compelled to play that same game. You're not much better when you're altering the record, when you're putting officers on to lie, when you know they're bold-faced lying, when you're having in-house informants come on here and lie when you know they're lying.
Oh, the jailhouse. What do you call it?
The jailhouse snitches.
Yeah, but they have that one that was in LA County, the notorious one that was in there.
Yeah.
That was putting cases on people.
Yeah.
That one was big right there. I forgot what they called it, but they had a name for that. What was going on?
Yep. The testimony for pay business.
Yep.
And it's crazy, but it's and you see it. You see it. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that say they're innocent. But very seldomly have I actually been around somebody that's like, oh man, this guy's really innocent.
Well, and this is the issue, right? This is the issue that I'm having, and I've spoke on it before. Is I have people in here, including Matthew. I have people in here that have told me I did not do it, and they're firm in their resolve. And Matthew, I'm not.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
you know Matthew, so I'm not going to go back and forth and be like, are you sure there might not be something there? I'm not going to do that with him. But there's guys here that I talk to and I joke around with. And like, for instance, I call him Innocent Derrick. he's my neighbor. And he's a guy, he's LWOP. He got life without parole. He's got 2 187s. His case was, it was heinous. And he's adamant, and he's in his 50s. He's been in for over 20 years, and he's like, look, I didn't do it. You know, and he actually named the person that he thinks did it, which is a family member of his. And it's crazy that who am I to judge your situation? Like, you were on this yard. So I think, well, who am I to judge this guy? Who am I to say this and that? Okay, so now how do we move forward with guys like this? These are guys at the integrity, the conviction integrity unit. They're not going to look at. The Innocence Project won't respond. Their lawyers are not interested. The public is not interested in these guys. What next? What do you think, Ray?
Yeah, man, I tell you, it's heartbreaking, to be honest with you, especially like for my buddy Matthew. You know, I've known Matthew now for, about what, 15 years, I think, somewhere around in there. I don't know how long it's been. It's been a long time, you know. And I've read his paperwork. I've seen his stuff, and I'm baffled.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
As to why Matthew's still in there, man. I think you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about, you know, some of the DAs and some of the public defenders. You know, some are in it, you know, for actual justice, and some are in it just for wins and losses numbers. Most of them want those wins, and they'll go to any extent to get those wins, whether you're innocent or guilty. To them, it doesn't matter, you know. And when you look at, you know, when you look at my situation and you look at the police investigation and how they conducted that, you know, in reality of things, if they'd have done their job correctly, I would have never been arrested or charged or anything else of that sort. So it's just a sad reality, man, that, you know, that people on the outside who've never been involved with the legal system, you know, you just think it's always right in what it's doing, and it's not right, you know.
You know what? When we went out there to meet up with you, Ray, my cousin was like, man, I wonder who Ray pissed off that they you know, they felt the need, you know, to take it to the extent they did. And I was like, I don't even like none of this makes sense. It boggles my mind also, you know, how he ended up in that situation with not having any evidence, nothing. See, let me plug them back in.
Esta es Global Telling.
This call is now being
Usted tiene
recorded.
una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry about that. It cut off. Yeah, and the crazy part about Matthew is he's been on for, he's been in for 27 years.
27, yeah.
27 years. He's not a lifer. Matthew's not a lifer. He's just got a lot of time. I think he got like 35 years or something, some crazy time, you know, and he's more on the mission to, yes, I'm sure he would want to get out a little sooner. He's probably, you know, he's on the downward part of his time. He's got about 7 left maybe, you know, but he's more interested in trying to clear his name. He served in the military before, and he's, you know, and he's just like, look, I want to clear my name. I did not do this. And that's the same, and it gets you thinking, because those are the same people that put you away, you know, that put him away, same office.
Yeah, and I've tried, you know, I've tried my best to help Matthew out with certain people that were involved in my case and helping me out. And I, you know, I can only do so much and go so far with that. You know, I'm hand fed by, you know, a very long spoon when it comes to dealing with that particular office. You know, there was a lot of lot of lashing out that went on after I was exonerated, and people got dismissed and things like that. So, but I've been trying to help Matt out as best as I could, man. I just, my heart goes out to him and his family. So.
Yeah, likewise, and the other guys that are in here that are going through that, but 27 years, man, that he's done. That's longer than Jesse's been in my, Jesse's my cellie. That's why we're able to talk like this. Jesse and I, we've known each other since we were younger, and out in society, we got involved with a lot of the same people and stuff like that. That led us down the path that got us to where we're at today. And I'm glad that I get to be here as he gets to end his journey, because Jesse's going to board pretty soon, so he's going to be wrapping up his time. I still have a little to go. I go to board in 2031, but I have the I take responsibility for why I'm in prison. Like I said, I'm here for something that I was involved in. It happened, and that's what it is. I have to do my time. But it's just hard for me to put in perspective on the way you must have looked at your time. It's just crazy to think about.
Yeah.
There was a time when you got sentenced, though. Did you ever think you were never going to go home?
No, I never thought that. Now, that's one thing I wouldn't allow myself to succumb to, is those type of thoughts. I always try to maintain a positive outlook and stay away from all the nonsense and all the the politics that go on inside. And sometimes you can't, and but for the most part, you try to move forward. And for somebody like me, who was quote unquote a square in a sense, and then being thrown into the midst of LA County and starting off down there, and then steadily progressing to state prisons was somewhat of a traumatic experience, and you just you push through it.
Where did you go to reception at?
I was up in Delano.
Oh, you were Delano. What yard did they put you on?
Oh man,
I don't
even remember that now.
You were in the cells, right?
What was that?
It was 11 years. Did they put you in a cell?
Yeah, I was
out there.
I was in a cell. Yep, the whole time. Yep.
Yeah. So you were probably on B yard or D yard. B yard was reception, mainline reception, but they also had SNY there. Did you come into SNY immediately, or did you go to the mainline for a while?
No, I was on the mainline for a while.
Yeah. So when you first walked in that cell, because I've been to Delano, I've been to D yard and Delano, B yard. I spent a lot of time in the hole right there, but also in the cell. So when you first walked in the cell and the door closed behind you, what were your thoughts when you saw what that looked like?
Man, I don't even remember, man. I think more or less I was still in a state of shock, just going through that whole process, catching the chain. And, I spent 4.5 years in LA County, in single cell, living down in 1750 in high power. And, to be put into another cell with another individual, that was the difference for me, because I don't know this dude. And, I don't know what he's in here for, and I don't know, what his mentality is or what his get down is. And, I had to adjust to living in the cell with another person now,
Yeah, I try to explain to people like what it's like really, because when you...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
When you commit a crime and you come to prison, like most of us kind of knew what to expect. We had other homeboys, or we grew up like kind of in gang culture and stuff. So we had an idea of what to expect, But somebody who didn't come from that lifestyle coming into prison and the door slams shut behind you, it's traumatic for us. Jesse and I, we've talked about that first day in Delano. Did you go through Delano, Jess, or Wasco?
Yeah, Delano.
Delano, yeah. And so on my first term, I went through Delano also, and it was just crazy, when you walk in and they close the door, and they always find, like, even on the main line, like I was on the main line for a long time too, and I would have cellies that were just weird, man. And it's crazy because they're GP dudes, and they're putting me in there. Yeah, and I don't know them, I don't know them from Adam, but there's always something weird about them. I go in there, they're just like, there's something like, I don't know, it was just strange, to be in that little, and there's just nothing to do. So you're just in there with some weird dude all day, And you go to day room and you come back in the cell and you're like, man, I'm back locked in here with this weird dude again. You say something like maybe this idle chit chat or, they're like, hey, you want to play some cards? I don't play cards. And what about chess? You like chess? We don't got a chessboard. You want to make one? Nah, I'm cool. What the hell you want to do, man? You got any books? Nah, I got no books. It's like,
hey, look, that's how that first dude I was in the cell with, man. Kevin Knight was his name. I don't care about putting his name out there. That dude was a straight J-Cat, man. He used to sell his he was selling his Seroquel on the tier, just trying to get a sofa or something like that, I mean, he was just crazy, man. But for somebody like me, I was like, I didn't know how to respond to that. It's like, what do I do, man? I gotta get that dude out of here. I gotta get out of here. One of the two. But luckily he was a short timer though. He was just there, getting ready to parole or something or another. I don't know what he got going on, but yeah. I think the reality of the real reality came when I left Delano and went to Corcoran. And when I went to Corcoran and ended up on B Yard, that's when a lot of things started to transpire over there. It's been, Corcoran was where a lot of the shot callers were at, and it was pretty interesting over there. So.
Yeah, Jesse and we spent a lot of time in Corcoran.
Yeah, Corcoran's a rough prison.
Yeah, it's a rough prison.
Yeah.
I've been on B Yard. Jesse's been on B Yard, so we know what it is. It's generally you were on 3B. That's what they call it.
Yes, 3B. Yep, that's it.
3B, yeah. And Corcoran is notorious. That's a notorious prison. It's super corrupt over there. Like there's all kinds of stuff going on. And
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I could have imagined, man, you walking onto that yard and it's kind of like, man, there's a lot of stuff going on around you. It's. I describe it kind of. It kind of like it was like water in motion. It's just there's always something going on around you, but everything moves. Everything moves kind of like in a It's weird. It's kind of like how when you look down into a creek and you just see fish swimming and tadpoles and just everything's always got a purpose and always moving and never stopping and it just always flows around and it's like a giant fishbowl in here, and it's just a fishbowl of chaos. You get the guys that are really really political, or you get the dudes that are just super dope fiends, and you get the J-Cats. You get the cool cats. The cool cats kind of see each other, and it's kind of like, man, do you see this? You see what's going on around here? And it's just, What did you do in prison? Did you play basketball or any sports or anything?
Yeah, that's all I did was play basketball and work out, man. That's it. And I play Scrabble in the day room and, checkers and stuff like that. But, on the yard, that's all I did was play ball. That's where I had three incidents, and all three of them came on the basketball court.
That's why I stay away from the basketball court.
Hey, dude, Jesse won't go to the basketball court.
I won't do it. It's like jungle ball in here. It's crazy. Every time, all my life, I've been doing time since I was a young kid, and all my life, any time I've ever gotten on a basketball court, it resulted in a fight. And the last time I did it was about over 20 years ago in the county jail. And it's because you get a bunch of motherfuckers in prison. And it's like, is this rugby or basketball? Like you can watch basketball on TV, and these motherfuckers are not touching each other like this. Why are you in my goddamn space? Get away from me. You know what I mean? And it's like, so I just accept, like I said, 20 years ago was the last time I got on a basketball court when I was fighting my case when I was in the county jail, and I was just like, you know what? And I told the homie, I do not want to get on the court. You guys finish your game so we can play some handball. And they're like, we need another player. I got on the court, and sure enough, I ended up in a fight. And it was like, come on, man, this is why I didn't want to do it. Like, I don't play contact sports like this. You guys, come on, you can't play a basketball game without putting your hand in my damn face. You know what I mean?
Hey, it's funny, too, because Jesse will let a lot of stuff go. And he lets a lot of stuff go, but he'll, like, hone in on one thing, right? And it's usually something that's kind of insignificant, but he's like, man, I've seen him. And when Jesse gets mad, both his feet leave the ground when he talks. It's so crazy to see. Like it's almost like it's like Yosemite Sam, right? Like he blows smoke out of his ears, and he just like he's both his feet as he talks. Both his feet leave the ground. I don't even know how he does that. And that's how I could tell. I could tell how mad he is because he'll say something. He'll say like a little comment to somebody, and when he just starts fuming, I'd look for his feet. I'm like, oh, they're gonna leave him the ground. We got to get him out of here.
And you know what's funny is I went into the gym the other day for the first time on this yard, and I watched these guys play basketball while I was using the exercise equipment, and I was telling the guys over with me, I said, that's exactly right there why you will never catch me on the court. Like, I don't understand how these guys are out there wrestling and just, I mean, it's just foul. You know what I mean? Like, dudes, and I'm just like, when have you ever seen a basketball game look like that on TV? When have you ever seen a basketball game like these motherfuckers are playing rugby? You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a. You know, we opened that gym, man. When I got to that yard, we opened that gym.
Did you? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because they cleared the
Back in
the bus
2000,
sleepers out, right?
2000,
Oh
2010, 2011, somewhere around in there. They used to, you know, it wasn't open for to go in and do anything, and the committee down there, the guys that sit on the board with the inmates, you know, they were pushing and pushing and pushing, and finally they relinquished and allowed that gym to open up for, you know, exercise and ball and stuff like that. So
now they got all kinds of gym equipment in there. They got like an exercise bike. They got medicine balls. They got like this rower machine. They got it's actually evolved a little bit. They got a lot of different little things in there that's actually. And I had never seen. I've been on this yard for 6 years right now. I've been in and out of this prison for almost 17 years. I was on C yard for a long time. A long time ago, I was on A yard, but I had never been in this gym to see this equipment. Everybody tries to get me to go in there, and I'm like, man, I'm cool. Like, I'm in the shop all week long, so on the weekend, I want to get out here and I want to play softball. I want to, you know, hit the track. I want to feel the sun. But the other day, it was super windy outside, and they opened the gym. I said, you know what, I'm going to go in here and just check out this gym just to get out of the wind. And I went in there, and I was actually pretty happy about it because, like I said, this exercise, they got resistance bands and all kinds of stuff that you can hook up to the equipment, and it puts more weight on the equipment. People can lean on the bars, and I actually walked out of there with a pretty good exercise.
We got medicine balls in there. We got 30-pound medicine balls now. And you know what I like about the equipment though? Like, I like looking at it because you know the equipment that we got in here. I think they made it.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
I think all of this equipment was made like in welding, you know, back behind work change. So everything looks like, I don't know, I just stare at the mechanics of some of the stuff. And I'm like, I know this wasn't made in a company. I'm saying this wasn't Peloton. You know, these things are like, but they did good on them. We have 2 exercise bikes. We got like one of them ski machines, like a little ski thing. You can kind of get momentum going.
yeah.
We got like body weight. It's like body weight things where you can bench yourself for your own weight. We got a foosball table. We got ping pong tables. We got pickleball. Yep. Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff in there now. It's definitely evolved since it wasn't open. It wasn't open before you guys got it open because they had the people sleeping in there before, right? That's
Yes,
why it
sir.
wasn't open.
Yep.
It's gonna cut off right now.
Okay.
I'll give you a call back right now, James.
All right, for sure.
Yep.
Hey, Ray, let me ask. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was
going to say, you got to love them tablets, man.
Yeah, man.
The tablets they got, man, that's crazy.
Man, it's the only way. I mean, if it wasn't for the tablets, we wouldn't be able to do the way, you know, the way we do, you know. And then in Centinela, they keep them on like 24/7. So, man, we want to jump on in the middle of the night, then that's an option. So that's really cool. You know, I was gonna ask you, do you remember what your first meal was when you were exonerated?
Wow. Oh yeah, I do actually. I went to Habit Burger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my attorney Jeff and his son Clint.
Yeah.
They were. I don't know if they were really hungry or whatnot, but yeah. He said
Este
call is now
es
being
Global
recorded.
Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hey guys, so
Yeah.
I just
Yep.
asked Ray, did he remember what his first meal was when once he got exonerated?
Yeah, it was a habit burger. I remember it so
Habit
clearly,
burger.
man. I couldn't even eat it because I was so my anxiety level was through the roof. I was nervous. I was too busy looking around at what was going on around me, and I just didn't know how to respond to everything that was happening at that time. So I don't even think I think I took like one or two bites out of it, and I was done with it. I actually had to go to the bathroom just to get away from all the movement what was going on around me, because it was just like real nonchalant stuff going on, and so
Yeah. Did do you feel like you have any long-term residual effects from your incarceration?
yeah, yes, absolutely.
What's
Absolutely,
the-
but
what's-
but it doesn't, it won't show or come out unless there's a certain situation. What's the number one thing
Yeah.
when you're locked up inside, right? It's all about respect. Once you
Yeah, for sure.
disrespect somebody or disrespect a race or whatever the case may be, that's when your
Yep.
issues are going to come into play. And so out here in
Yep,
this
for sure.
this society that we live in, the amount of disrespect that I encountered when I first got out was I didn't know how to respond to that except for you resort back to this mentality. It's like, hold up, homie. I'm like, what? Who the fuck you talking to? And then there is no more.
Yep.
Look, there is no more talking after that. It's like, all right, well, I mean, we just gonna get active then, and that's it. And
Yep.
a lot of people didn't
Yep.
understand, that mentality. It was like, how you gonna speak to somebody in this manner like that? You would get dealt with in a whole nother, violent way in another situation.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I
That's
think, and
unfortunate.
a lot of my cellies that were with me, I've had like 5 of them get out. Unfortunately, 4 of them I went back in, and when they got out, they ran into that same type of issue, and some of them didn't know how to respond to that, and some of them fell back
Esta
into
llamada
their
y su
old,
número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
they fell back into their old habits again. There's that whole thing that you hear people say, or I'm sure you guys hear it. You've been around for quite some time. It's like, man, if they ever let me out of here, I ain't never coming back. This, and that. And next thing you know, you see that same dude back on the yard, and you're like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
He's like, oh man, and homie, I went out there, man, this, and that. It's like, so it's like you forget everything that you just went through for those, 10 to 20 plus years of your life. You just forgot about all that, and you decide to get back on the street and go back to the old hood, and hopefully, the homies don't get you if they find out you went the other side of things. But it's like,
Yep.
I don't know, man. It was wild though. So yeah, I still have some long term effects by that. Yeah, I mean, I used to wash my clothes in the shower, when I first got out, just because I just like.
I know. I do it at family visits. I get family visits here, and I wash my clothes in the shower. And my wife's like, well, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
Sounds convenient to me.
Yeah, it does.
Convenient
But
to
it's
me.
like, well, and the funny part is, I act like I'm not to. Act like I'm not going to do it. You know about family visiting and stuff, right, Ray? Where.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So when you were still in prison, lifers didn't get family visits, correct?
This is correct.
Yeah, so now they gave them to us. We have them, and if you're eligible, so I'm out there. I'm out there with my wife. I'm out there with my son, and we're having fun. So I get to interact with them and rehumanize myself. But I'll go in there and I'll take my socks and my boxers, and I have them in there, and I think like I'm not gonna wash them in the shower. I'll just wait, and then I'll start to obsess on it a little bit, and before you know it, I'm right there washing my. I'm like, well, I'll just take care of it right now, And now it got so bad, I bring Zote to the family visit. I bring a little Zote bar.
That's wild.
Hey, and the crazy part is they got me washing their clothes now. I'll be able to. Hey, I'll be over the sink. I'll be over the sink with my son's socks, like on my wrist. You know how when you wash your socks, you put them on. You ever put them on your wrist and wash them on your hands?
Yes, absolutely.
You ever did that?
Yep, that's the way you do it.
Yeah, and so I'll be right there. I'll be right there over the sink in the kitchen with my son's socks on my wrist, washing them over the sink, with the zote bar, and they're used to it now, but it's going to be something I'm going to have to get used to, I'm going to have to get used to just kind of, just rehumanize myself. And I have an opportunity to go to board, like I said, in 2031. My case is open for resentencing right now, so they may remove the gun enhancement, which would get me to board almost immediately. So we're doing, Jesse and I, we're both in college here. We have San Diego State University here. We're going to be starting SDSU with Matthew in the fall. And I've been clean for 7 years. Jesse's been clean for about 400. Yeah, we don't mess around. We're involved, like facilitating programs and stuff. So we're learning how to readjust in prison, because the respect thing, that's a big thing in here. What Ray said, James, is serious. We have serious issues with respect in here.
And the reality is we don't have the option of reverting back to the old way of dealing with things. So we're trying to shed that prison skin while we're here. Even though we still carry ourselves with respect, we give people what they got coming. One thing I've learned not to do is to demand respect from anybody the way that I did for the first 20 years of my incarceration and most of my life. But what Ray said, that's a real thing. And if you don't fix that before you get out of prison, it's going to be harder to deal with it out there, because people out there, we say it all the time in here, what we consider respect in here, people out there have no knowledge of. As far as they're concerned, they don't give a fuck where you've been, what you're doing, or where you're going, because they're only thinking about the lane that they're in and what they're doing. And if we sat there and expected people to see things the way that we do and understand things the way that we do, we're gonna set ourselves up for failure, because there's gonna be a world of people out there that I'm gonna want to hurt. And that's one of the biggest things that we've been working on over the last few years is coming to the understanding that, I can't put my expectations or my standard on other people. I can't control how other people act. All I can do is control how I react to it. And I've seen, exactly like Ray said, I've seen a lot of guys who didn't prepare for that, and they were able to get themselves out of prison after 2-3 decades, get out and come back, because they had not done what was necessary to recondition themselves because of prison. It's a survival. This is a jungle, and if you don't learn to react with violence in prison when people disrespect you, you're going to end up becoming fish food. But in society, that's not a real thing. If we walk around hurting people every time we have some disrespect, perceived or real, at the end of the day, you're going to be right back in this fucking place, and nothing is worth my freedom again. I gave my life over to people for a long time, And so for me, it's like I got a value system now, and I make sure that value system is at the head of every decision I make. And if somebody wants to disrespect me, somebody wants to cut me off on the road, at the end of the day, it's like, what am I willing to sacrifice to teach this man a lesson? I'm not willing to sacrifice a goddamn thing, because I've given up too much along the way. So for me, it's like, hey, bro, I'm sorry, whatever the fuck happened. I've been hurting people my whole life, and trust and believe you don't want me to react the way that you hoping that I do, because the reality is you're not willing to go as far as I did most of my life. And that's just the truth about it, And so I understand that, and I keep those thoughts out of my mind, because a lot of times, sometimes even in recovery, we tell ourselves, oh, this motherfucker only knew. If he only knew. But the reality, that in itself is not a good thought, because it's too easy that if this guy only knew, that stimulus, that little area between this guy only knows and action is a real small area. So I try to even keep that thought out of my head, because sometimes that's what it takes. If he only knows, then the next time it's like, well, this guy is going to know. So I just try to tell myself I'm not that person. I'm not going to react that way. Marcelli says it best. Like, I don't need to think about every situation I'm in and what I'm going to do in that situation, because I already know what I'm not going to do.
That's it, yeah. It might not look graceful, but I can definitely tell you I'm not going to put my hands on nobody no more.
Well, I don't know, I've never seen you guys in person before, so I don't know, like, if you guys, got all the tats and everything like that, but if in fact, guys that do come out with, a lot of the tats on their face or their body, their necks, or whatever the case may be, some people will prejudge you and go ahead and assume, this dude, he's done time, because you can tell prison art versus, street art, right? And when people look at me and they see me and I tell my story, people, they can't they can't see that, because the way that I carry myself, I don't carry myself like I did 11 years incarcerated. I don't have tattoos that are all over my body, so they can't look at me and say, this dude looks like he's done some prison time. So when, like you said, that mentality that you had, it's like, man, if this dude only knew, his mentality may not be like mine. Do I know what the consequences are of my actions if in fact I decide to act on this dude, disrespecting me? Because in my mind, I'm like, I've been there, done that, man. So I know what's going to happen. I know how to handle myself, and I know the consequences afterward. But, in reality, I got a family out here, man. I ain't got time for that nonsense. But, it just depends on, the situation. But that's what a lot of the guys that had got out that I've known, they've ran into that issue, man. And it's so sad, and they get caught up with certain females, and these females know that they're on
Esta
probation
llamada
or
y su
parole and all.
número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
And all they have to do is make a phone call to their parole officer and be like, hey, man, this dude, put his hands on me, or he's got a knife over here, and, you ain't supposed to have no weapons. And that's what one of my old cellies is in for. He was down for 27 years. They found him suitable. He got out. He was out for like 2.5 years, man. Got mixed up with the wrong chick, and she called the PO on him because she was mad one day. And, he's been locked up again up there in San Quentin for the last 3 years. They won't even let him go right now. It's like, it's crazy, man. I don't understand the concept, but.
They say that's the number one cause of recidivism right now is women. People, a lot of the lifers that get out, the first thing they say is, man, get out here and get on your own 2 feet first, because the women they'll be the death to you. Exactly that. And a lot of times dudes don't know how to deal with relationships in society, because you've been in a relationship in prison. It's a controlled environment. It's a total different concept than a relationship out there. Yeah, it's different.
Well, that's my number one advice to the dudes that I know that are going to board and that are getting out for sure. It's like, dude, you get yourself situated and don't worry about that other stuff, and I don't want to be, while we're on this, this live stuff, I ain't going to talk about any type of sexual stuff, but it's like, if that's what you want to do, go do it and bounce, but, get yourself situated. I got a partner of mine right now who just got out like last November, and man, the first thing he did, he went out there and he just, he went right back to doing what he did to get himself in prison 15 years ago. And I'm like, what? And I was like, dude, are you serious? Like, all them times we walked around that track in Centinela, and now you done fell back into this? It's like, come on, man. Like, come on. So now he's actually back out here in North Carolina, because this is where he's from. And, he's back on the right track, and I like I tell anybody, man, if you need something, just call me. Because I'm a support system, man. If I told you I'm a ride with you, I'm a ride with you, right? If you need money, call me. If you need something, call me, man. Don't fall back into that nonsense, man. Like, seriously. And unfortunately, these guys that, I know that they didn't take that advice, it's always been there. I rode with you the whole time that I've been out of prison. You ask for a package, I send you a package. You ask for money for a food sale, I send you money for that. It's like, I'm gonna be there, So I don't know. It hurts me, because it's like, I want to see these guys. I want to see anybody that gets out and is afforded that second opportunity to get out there and make something, and do something productive with themselves. Not what society wants you to do, but what you deem to be successful in your own eyes. So I don't know, and it's wild, man. I just pray for a lot of guys that are locked up, man, and I know everybody may not want to hear
Le
that.
queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Hey, how is it? Is it felon friendly out there in North Carolina?
Hell yeah.
I got a sister out there. She actually has her own. She breeds her own dogs out there called Carolina Retrievers, and she's been out there forever, as long as I've been in prison, even longer. But she's been out there. And I have a little brother in South Carolina. He used to be in North Carolina, but him and my sister got into it, so he went out to South Carolina. But I was wondering if it was felon friendly, because my brothers, they usually run out that way when they're in trouble over here.
It's nice out here, man. North Carolina's home for me,
That's cool. That's right. That's right. We got one more call, right, James?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. All right, I'm calling back.
All right, cool, man. These 15 minutes be flying by, Ray. Right?
Man, dude, I just looked to see how long I've been on the phone with you already. I think it's been about an hour already.
Yeah, man. It be.
You know, my wife and I just got back into town today. We were actually down in Los Cabos, man.
Oh,
we were down there in
nice.
Cabo. Yeah.
You don't have no issues flying in because I've been seeing these videos where they're making people pay for visas now when they're coming in from the U.S.
Oh man, I ain't got no problem, man. I got a U.S. passport, man. I ain't got no problem.
Yeah, I think you
This
got
call
it.
is now being
Global
recorded.
Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el...
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Hello, James.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, that's cool, man. I'm glad we got to spend some time with Ray today. That's cool because we never been formally introduced. I heard a lot about him already, and that's cool, man. You know, I can't wait
It's awesome to me, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys, listening to my story through Matthew and I, sitting here on the phone talking to you guys just like I do with Matthew, man. And, I still have flashbacks of, walking that track down there at Centinela and playing ball out there on that raggedy basketball court outside and, just all these other different things, man. It's like, people ask me sometimes, do I miss prison? And honestly, yeah, I miss some things about prison, and that may be, shocking to hear, but yeah, there are certain things that I do miss. I miss spreading with, making spreads. It's nothing like prison cooking, man. When you hook up a rice bowl or, you fry something up on your desk and you up there, busting down with the homies and whatnot,
Yep.
Hey, look. I wanted to know, like, I was gonna have, but I don't know what block Matthew's in. What block is Matthew in?
We're in a 3 block. Yeah, he's right here. He's my neighbor. Yeah, he's like 2 doors down. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in 3 blocks. So I was in one block and 5 block, right? And I tell you what, man, I used to hook my cells up where, and you can ask Matthew. I don't know if you ever remember coming to one of my cells, but I used to hook them up with the marble papering. I used to marble my whole cell up, man. I used to make my own glue.
That's hard.
And then I would have,
That's hard.
I'd have one of the, yeah.
That's how our cell is. Our cell's the same way. We got Louis Vuitton and marble over the whole cell.
Oh, there you go. That's it right there. Because I couldn't stand those metal, seeing that metal all over the place, and the walls were all jacked up, man.
And when did you leave here, Ray?
I left there in 2014.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
2014. I went to Chino. I left from there and went straight to Chino, and I was exonerated from Chino State Prison.
Where were you at in Chino? West Yard?
Yep, West Yard.
Yeah, I was in Chino for a while too before, but Chino's a dump, man. That's a whole other freaking.
It is. It surely is.
Hey, you wouldn't even recognize the prison today though. Like what prison looked like. Like I mean, the reality of it is, bro. Like just in the last 5 years, prison has drastically changed. And then you think back to 10, 15, 20 years, and it's unrecognizable. Like just the way that the things are, like the way it's a trip. You would trip out about, you'd see some of the things and be like, man, I can't believe they're doing this in prison. I mean, just to think about it, we're talking to you from a tablet right here in the cell. That in itself is like, we got laptops, bro. That for college, like we have freaking laptops, and it's just things that are just blow me away.
Yeah, both of us have laptops right here. No.
Yeah, that's crazy too, because I was a phone bandit, man. When I was in locked up, man, I was always trying to get on the phone. I used to try to, man, I was trying to take everybody's phone time, man. That was my only that was my only source of connecting to the outside world, in a physical way, hearing somebody else's voice besides all these dudes that I was surrounded by all the time. You get a little fed up and irritated with that, and just sometimes I'd be on the phone talking to Kim, who's now my wife, and I would just I didn't even need to talk. All I wanted to do was hear what was going on in the background. Just let me hear the background noise. Where you at? Like, and you hear other people talking, or whatever the case may be, man. It's just like anything to take you out of that environment.
I tell my wife that, and she thinks I'm crazy because I always ask her, "What are you doing? What's that sound?" And she's probably like, my wife trips out. She's like, "You're freaking nuts." I'm like, "No, I want to hear what's going on, and I can only see the world through what you let me hear.
Yeah.
That's how I see the world."
Yeah.
And,
I was just sharing
that you hear in prison.
Yeah, I was just sharing right now that my wife and I, we just literally got back today from Los Cabos. We were down in Los Cabos, Mexico, and I always send videos and always send pictures to all a lot of guys that are still in there, including Matthew. I haven't got to his yet, but I'm gonna send him some pictures and some videos from my trip down there, because I'm like, that it's such a blessing to be able to have that, those tablets that you guys have now, because now you can see the outside world, and you can get yourself a couple of little twerk videos or whatever the case may be,
Yep. Oh, yeah. James took me to a parking lot one time in New York City.
Oh man.
James showed me the size of.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
And he drove with me on a turnpike, but he got to show Jesse the Empire State Building.
Hey, David, it wasn't any park. It was the park. It was the parking lot at the Hudson River.
But you didn't show me the river. You turned to the other way.
Dave was late for our trip to New York, James.
Yeah. I showed up a little late, and I was like, "Oh, what's that, James?" He's like, "Well, it's a turnpike." "What's a turnpike?" He said, "Well, it's a freeway." Oh, all right.
No, but it is awesome, and that's why they give us these tablets, though, because it's to help reconnect us to humanity and to help build connections with our family and people out there, because ultimately the reality of it is 95% of people that are in prison are going to be back out in society again. So they want to connect us. They want to prepare us for being out there, instead of just throwing us in here and throwing us under the jail like it used to be, like it was when I came in, So it's or the same thing with you, and when you came in, at that point there was no hope for people. When lifers came in, you weren't getting out, so the whole thing was just get in here and immerse yourself in prison. And so now they're trying to do the opposite. They're trying to reintegrate us and prepare us for out there and help us build family ties and stuff like that. And exactly like you said about the pictures and videos, seeing things like that, it gives us something to appreciate and look forward and motivated for.
Yeah, I get to see my nephews now, and I get to see them on the video calls, and I get to experience that, and that's just something that we never had before. It's a lot different, man. But we don't have a lot of time. Well, no, we got about eight more minutes on, James.
Yeah, you know what? Right now, let me take the opportunity, because we do have a question from Wally, and he asked me to ask you guys. He's asking, is it true that CDCR dropped 85% down to 65% and 80% down to 60%? I send my respects.
Yep,
that's our respects to you too, Wally.
It went to 66. You got 85 went to 66. And 66 went down to what, third time or half time?
Yeah.
Was it 85 went to 66 and 80 went to halftime, and
it's weird how they did it though, because for lifers, like for instance, right, for me, right, I got life with the possibility of parole, which was 40 years to life, but they gave me 66% credit on that, or I'm doing 66%. So they cut I had a board date in 2056 or 2052 or something like that. It was way out there. It was so far out there. I was like, man, it's in the 50s. I'm going to definitely die here. And so now my board date for my life case, it's 2039. So whatever the time credits they gave me, it cut it all the way down from the 50s to 39. And then they changed the law that said if I'm in custody for 20 years and I'm 50, I get to go to board. So I get to go to board in 6 years now. A little over 6 years. So they cut everything way down. Awesome. Yeah, it affected everybody except for LWAP and Condemned.
Which is crazy because I used to have LWAP. I had LWAP before, and I went back to court on appeal, and I took my murder to trial myself. I went pro per and represented myself, and I got a second degree, and I came back up, and I'm under the youth offender. That's why hopefully I'll be able to get out next year. Well, I'm going to go to board at the end of the year again, and hopefully I'll be out by next year. When I think about it, like, man, I went from having life without the possibility of parole to hopefully going home at at the end of my 25-year sentence.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how everything's changed. They're trying to get us out the door, man. They're educating us. They put Jesse and I into college, and before, when you had life, you had nothing coming. They were trying to give all the short-timers like the programs and stuff like that, and they're showing us, hey, we're educating you. Why are we educating you? Because we're going to let you out. If you continue on the path that you're on, we want to let you go home. You're going to be the only reason why you're going to stay in prison. It's all up to you. We're giving you an opportunity, man. And what do you want to do with it? Do you want to behave like you were before, or do you want to behave like a civilized human being? And we're going to help you with a career. There's so many organizations and advocates out there that are helping us right now. And I just want to give a shout out to everybody out there, man, that's going hard for us in here, for believing in us. To you, Ray, for everything that you do for people. You didn't just get out and throw caution to the wind and let your experience define you. You use it to empower you and to empower others. So, I believe that you're an amazing person, man. You went through something that a lot of people might have just curled up and died, in that circumstance. And you didn't, man. You fought, and you're living your life, And you stood true to your girl. You married your girl, man. She rode this with you, man, and she got the best of you. And that's cool, man. I'm glad that you're out there.
I like her a little bit.
She's all right, you know what I mean?
She's cool when she's sleeping.
Sometimes.
That's right. But man, hey, it's been great though, Ray. This is Jesse, man. I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing this little afternoon with us. It's good. It's cool to meet you. Matthew, speaks highly of you, and even James, like David said.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Was touched by your story, and now that even I've had this hour and a half to hang out with you and just see where you at, mentally, and it seems like you're a good dude, seeing all the things that you're doing for all your buddies that you left behind in here and stuff like that. So it just makes it that much more impactful to think about, that they took 11 years of your life from you, but one of the big things we learned from being in here, is we can't go back and undo the past. So the reality is, you're doing everything you got to do to move forward, which is awesome, but it doesn't change that they took that 11 years from you, And for me, it's just been an honor to be able to hang out with you and get to know you a little bit and stuff like that. And I appreciate you taking this time to hang out with us, man.
Yep.
Oh man, yeah, I appreciate it, gentlemen. I really do, man. Much respect to you guys, and y'all keep holding it down and keep your head up high and keep your faith, man. And hopefully I can jump back on again some other time, man. And send all my love to everybody, man, and send my hellos to everybody.
And if you have any ideas too in the future for anything like with James for other shows and stuff, man, just feel free, man. We welcome any of your suggestions, any ways that we can improve this, anything you might, anything like that. And you're a part of this now with us, part of this journey.
All right, bro. I appreciate it, man. You got it.
No problem. We got to bounce out at 1 o'clock. So just want to give a shout out to all the viewers too. Everybody that spends this time with us, man. Fish Lair SoCal, that's our boy right there, Ray. You see him on the chats anytime, man. That's a good dude right there, man. He's somebody who helps a lot of people out there, and he's impacted our lives in a lot of ways already. And Star Media, even though she's blocked right now, her and her vato, Mad Max 408, got themselves suspended for a little bit off the app, but it's cool, man. We're glad that they're there. You ever see Team Gary on there?
Marlene.
Yep.
Well, definitely send mine to them, to all the regulars, Chubby Jessica, M-Star Media, Team Gary, Marlene, everybody, SoCal Fish Lair. I'm going to give you a call a little bit later. I'm going to go out to day room for a little bit, but I'm probably come back in and do some homework, and I'll give you a call. I don't know if you'll be available or not, but I'll definitely give you a holler if you hear this.
Yeah.
And
everybody else. That's in the shout out to my Valentine, to baby.
Hey,
You told me yesterday. You gave me a shout out yesterday.
Hey, I got a dozen roses from some guy named Purple Passion. I don't know what this means, Dave. So I don't know if I should be worried about this.
Run, David, run.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
It was a dozen roses and a bag of rice. I don't know what he's implying. But.
Yeah, you get roses from anybody in prison, there's a problem.
I don't know how he got these. Yeah, they're made out of toilet paper. Hey, but yeah, you guys take care of yourselves, man. It's cool, man. Spending this time with you and to all the viewers that we didn't mention, you know. Hopefully we get to hear your name in the future, give you guys shout-outs, too.
Yep.
We'll be back.
Stay blessed, Ray. We appreciate your time, bro.
Yep.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one, man. I'll talk with y'all later.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. And like I said around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it lights out. And with that, we're out. A rato. Yeah, mama. Yeah, we're going to play right now. Let me just cut this right now. All right, let's go. Let's go.